Picking up where we left off, we was talking about how I got free from addiction. You know, so the storyline was like grandma died, and then Pop Smoke and Kobe died. My friend killed himself because he couldn't rid himself of addiction and felt like a shitty person and was so plagued. Then another one of my friends killed himself early March. Now it's March 17, 2020. Pandemic is jumping. Nobody knows what the fuck is going on. I'm working at Little Skips. I'm in the cafe. Nobody has any clue of how to deal with any protocol when it comes to this apparently killer disease that did take a lot of people under. You feel me? So March 17th, you know, I got COVID, you know, when it first came out, you know what I mean? Then what happened was, you know, I'm in the crib, tapped out off of COVID. Now, COVID symptoms was real. Like, what happened was I had extreme body aches. You know, my body felt weak. I was feeling like my cognition was fucked up. Like, I was having lapses, and I felt like I had like mini dementia or some shit. Like, it was real. Because y'all know I'll be highly perceptive. So I know my mind enough to know when my shit ain't clicking. You feel me? So then, boom. Other than that, I'm laying down. I got like symptoms. I used to have asthma as a kid, you know, so I'm feeling like my chest is tight. I got my asthma pump by me. And guess what, y'all? I'm still puffing the jewel. I'm going through sweats in the sheets. I'm cold sweating, fever crazy, fucked up, mind crazy. And I'm still under the covers like this, taking hits of this bullshit. You know what I mean? So in such a heightened state of physical distress, physical fucked upness, I was messed up. COVID hit me crazy, right? And I'm undergoing all of these symptoms. You know what I mean? Let me clean up my act. I'm going through all of these different symptoms and experiencing all these different levels of distress. You feel me? And as I'm going through that, I'm still so emotionally weak and mentally enslaved that I'm gonna add more distress and more fucking difficulty into my life by inhaling this bullshit solution in liquid. Why? Because I have this feeling that I can't deal with my own emotions and I can't deal with that physiological withdrawal. So instead of going through that, I'm gonna just sit here and multiply the inharmonious feelings in my own self. Yeah. Facts. Every time somebody smokes, every time somebody drinks, every time somebody does something, it's for an emotional relief. It's because they can't deal with their emotions. They're feeling mental distress or emotional distress. And what they'll do is do this thing that creates physical sickness. You know what I mean? And shouts out to Supernova Slum. He said people are feeding their sickness. You see what I'm saying? So shouts out Supernova, because when he said that, I said, oh shit, like, I'm feeding my sickness. Like, I'm feeding and nurturing sickness developing in me simply because I have no emotional discipline, no exercise of willpower, and truly at the bottom of it all, you gotta say this here, I didn't love myself enough to not do that. So after I came to all these conclusions and I got brutally honest with myself, I'm like, yo, motherfucker, you killing yourself, bro. You basically dying from COVID in theory, right? I felt like I was down bad, you feel me? And you still adding on and trashing your life, bro? Like, you tripping. Like, you totally tripping and you're wrong. This gotta stop today. You know what I mean? So, you know, COVID started to clear up. You know, I still had the fatigue. It's getting closer to my birthday. My birthday is March 27th, so March 17th, March 27th, a few days later, you know what I mean? And I'm still going through this shit. I just felt like I couldn't taste anything and body weak. But I was just fed up with myself, you know what I mean? Like, all of these things happen. People dying around me. People dying because they couldn't shake that feeling. And we all know that feeling. Suffering in silence. Suffering in silence. A lot of y'all, because I'm not suffering in silence. The only time I suffer is when I don't transcend my selfishness and I decide to like be me or like serve me like through like fucking food or like some type of physical world shit. You feel me? Like when I'm not serving y'all and I'm not sitting in the function that I wanted to serve and being myself this way, you know what I mean? That's when I feel the worst. But like, you know, a lot of people are suffering in silence. You know, when it comes to drugs and emotional distress and mental anguish, and they're not showing it. Like, A lot of people never knew that I was battling addiction since I was like 20, 21. You know, I started working in cafes. You know, you think you a cool hipster kid. You know, you bum a cigarette off of your co-worker. You know, you smoking cigarettes. You think it's cool. It gets you a little light buzz. You like, ah, ha, ha. And slowly but surely you realize, hold on, like I feel like I'm losing it when I don't have this shit. And that's when the drugs or the substance, instead of you doing it, it's doing you. A lot of y'all in that position, you feel me? And I want to pull y'all out by sharing my story and letting y'all know that y'all are better off being mentally independent, spiritually independent, physically independent, not mentally dependent, spiritually dependent, physically dependent, emotionally dependent, being dependent on a substance to feel like yourself. You were created as the most independent, sovereign creature in creation, in all of creation that we know about. You feel me? Being fair to the things we don't know about. But you were the most independent and sovereign creation in creation that we know about, and you were never meant to be enslaved mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally to a substance that somebody, this is another mindset, that somebody is manufacturing to pry on your weakness to make money because somebody owns the Jewel Corporation. They gonna make money how they gonna make money. It's a free country. People get to do what they want to do. They could be as wrong as they want to be. You could line yourself in America, bro, fully. You know what I mean? Like, that's, you reap the consequences of your actions. It's a free country, facts. But these consequences pay that price. You lose your life, you lose your health, you lose everything for a feeling, bro. Yeah, I mean, if they gonna buy it, buy it. I didn't put it in their hands. I didn't force it to them, right? You did that with your own hands. You purchased it with your own money that you worked for, right? Stop doing yourself in. This is what I got to. This is what my mindset was. You feel me? Had to love myself enough to say, you know what, this is bullshit, Sheikhy. You know too much. You too conscious. You actually woke. Now you live in hypothetical and hypocritical. Shouts out to my mentor. He says it like that. But I said I didn't want to be a munafiq. Al-munafiqeen, the people who know, the people who have the knowledge but live hypocritical. A munafiq in Arabic or in Islam and in the Quran is the hypocrite. I said I can't die a hypocrite, bro. Like, there's people in the world that don't know this shit, and then, like, at least, you know, if they don't know, you can't be judged for what you don't know. But you know, Sheikhy, y'all know that I know at this point, and y'all feel me. So it became my duty to step up to the calling and live and personify the teaching. And that's what we doing. YWY, your world is yours. I keep telling y'all, like, addiction is mental, physical, you know, emotional, spiritual slavery. That's slavery. That's, your consciousness is enslaved. You don't want to be free. You do want to be free. Suffering in silence. People want to be free emotionally. You have to lean into that. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is what the main mindset ended up evolving into. When I finally got free, I realized what was happening. I was evolving. I was no longer coping. And there's a difference between coping and evolving, because coping is the situation or the environmental stress or the mental pressure builds up and the conflict is happening and tension is arising. But you do this thing just to pacify yourself in the moment, to turn off and numb yourself so that you can get through that time-space window of a circumstance. Evolving is adapting. It's being able to feel that circumstance, feel that stimulus, interact with that situation and circumstance in the environment, and grow through it so that when the next time that same circumstance comes, you're stronger and more able to deal with it mentally, physically, spiritually. If you only cope, next time it happens and you don't have that coping mechanism, you're gonna have to rely on that coping mechanism, whether it's a smoker, and if you don't have it, your character is hitting the floor. You're gonna lose it, right? This is why we build our character. We're developing our character. We're developing our mental, physical, emotional, spiritual strength. Mental, emotional, physical bring together, become your spiritual, right? 4D, you feel me? So this is where it all lined up to. It was this apex of just mental and inner suffering that I said, I'd rather die. I'd rather die, bro. I'd rather be stressed out and die, you know, becoming free from this shit than to bitch out every time. And I was calling myself a bitch. I said, you being a bitch, you being a slave. Then to bitch out and return back to these substances. You see what I'm saying? Because it's the threshold of withdrawal. It's the coming back to your level of health and sensitivity that most people can't deal with. You feel me? So as you take away the substance and you're no longer numbing yourself, you become more sensitive to life. And it's the feeling. So now we're talking about how you feel, right? I keep going back into that. Take all the notes you can and bring it together and free yourself. You see what I'm saying? So you start getting more, you start feeling more, and most people can't go through that window. They can't tolerate the feeling, right? Of reality of what they really feel like, so they go back to numbing themselves. I said, you know what, fuck it. I'd rather be me 100% and whatever the fuck happens, happens, than to be stuck in this fucking monotonous trap of circuitous addiction, substance abuse, straight up. You feel me? And I had enough courage to sit there, sit back, watch the Ray Charles movie, because I kept imagining myself. And the great thing about COVID, it was that we had nowhere to go, nothing to do. We had to be locked in the crib. So that lockdown actually gave me no excuse and no way out. It was like, yo, listen, you can't blame work. You can't blame this person. You can't blame anything. It's just you in this room right now with this substance. Are you gonna continue to do it? What are you gonna do? Exactly. I use that window. So I imagine that Ray Charles movie. In the Ray Charles movie, there was a scene when he was in rehab and he was withdrawn from the heroin, you feel me? And he was in the chick strapped up in the shit, right? And I was like, this too shall pass. So as you start to feel these feelings, know that physiologically, you're gonna go through it, right? But when it comes to nicotine, 72 hours, bro, 3 days. So 72 hours after, you feel me, your last smoke, you're physically free. Now it's about you mentally adapting and mentally coping XYZ and it becoming mentally stronger. That's where the psychological addiction, you being able to mentally deal with your environment, right? This is why I tell you, stop coping, start evolving, start adapting, start becoming, start building your character and your resilience. That's why Ramadan is so beautiful. For anybody out there who practice Ramadan anytime in their life, know that that same energy that you carry in Ramadan is the same energy that will liberate you from anything in this life. The fact that you're able to withstand and abstain from water and food for X amount of hours and also be accountable to your thoughts, that same power is what's gonna free you. That's the exercise of the power of the human. Facts. Like, most people don't have that level of self-mastery. So just to wrap it all up, you know, that's how it all happened. It was, watch the last video to get the first part of the story, but that's how it all happened. It all came to that point where I just had to let go, and, you know, it freed up so much energy, and literally that's when this journey began. It was a healing journey. Like, I let go of all of that shit, and this is where it ended up. It ended up me healing myself and applying all of the consciousness that I had that I was being hypocritical about, applying it, personifying it, becoming it, living it, and people starting to notice, like, wow, he's like actually, like, he's evolving, or he's changing, or he's getting results, and it's happening really fast and really effective and really well in a short amount of time. So that's when people catch on and like, oh no, like, he's good at whatever he's doing. I'm good at healing. I'm good at healing myself. So now it's about healing others. It's easy to be a spiritual person and be off in the woods and shit. But to be yourself and to then heal yourself and then put that on to other people. I'm not cutting this video off again. Fucking 2:45, you feel me? So, you know, to heal yourself and then to heal others. That's your mission in this life. And that's what my coach and my mentor taught me in his words. Like, you got to find what works for you in this life and then share that with the world. Become the person you always needed and share that person with the world. You have to level up. Everybody sees in a split second highest potential. Wow. Like, just imagine. Use your imagination. See yourself at the highest peak. Flourishing. Being your best. You know what that looks like. You have to, again, seek the knowledge and seek the coaching and seek the counsel and be close to people who are on the path to their highest peak of potential so that you can become that. Stop denying yourself that. Every time you smoke, every time you drink, every time you do something that's self-harm and that's self-sabotage, you're denying yourself that experience that the universe, that the creator has ordained for you to fulfill and become before the day you leave. A lot of people don't become what they need to become. Right? It's not like, oh yeah, it's all written in the stars. No, look around you. A lot of people never manifest it, bro. You know what I mean? Because they don't listen. And then they die. Go to the graveyard. A lot of people in the graveyard who didn't listen. They didn't have to die like that, bro. You don't gotta go out like that, bro. Cis, fam, trans, don't matter. You don't gotta go out like that. All you gotta do is listen to the call. The conscience is your North Star. Follow that. If you follow that North Star, you will land in your destination. If you follow any of these millions of other stars, you're gonna be over there. But the conscience is the North Star. Listen to yourself. Find out how to achieve the results. Right, there's people out here who've been through it, who know what they're doing and know what you need to know. Find those people. Get their consultation. Tap in. YWY, it's not just a fitness program. This is mind, body, soul. This is true human development and evolution and becoming your highest potential. Stop seeing this as some fucking push-ups and burpees. We on the path to greatness, and you are invited as long as you are willing to let go of the things that are stifling and holding you back. Are you willing to let go of the things that are making you sick? Are you willing to stop feeding your sickness and to begin feeding your wellness and greatness? Right. Shouts out to all the OGs, Supernova Slum. Shouts out all OGs swagging. You feel me? Yeah. 100% YWY, your world is yours. Consider vibrations raised. I love y'all.